If your video is a little bit underexposed, then you can adjust the exposure of your shot inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, if you go into Effects and search for Lumetri, you're looking for Lumetri Color. Drop that onto your underexposed video and go into Basic Correction. Now in here, there is this exposure tab here, so we can just increase the exposure and that's going to pull everything up. But the problem here is if we increase the exposure too high, you can see the clouds, which are the highlights, they're going to start to clip. So instead we can just increase that a little bit, and then we can go into the shadows and we can increase the shadows that way. Then we can pull the whites down, pull the blacks up. And as you can see, just by adjusting some of these settings, we've made a real difference to this clip. Alternatively though, if you wanted to, you could go into Levels. So search for Levels, Levels, drop that onto your clip, and just pay attention to these first 5 settings. So the black input level is going to be your contrast in the shadows. So if you increase that number, it's going to darken those shadows. We want to avoid that. So let's go for white input level. This is going to increase the brightness in the highlights. So you want to pull that up a little bit, but make sure your highlights don't overexpose. Then you've got the black output level, and you can see this is going to pull those shadows up. You've got the white output level, which is going to pull the highlights down a touch. But as you can see, if I overexpose the clip and then I try to pull that down with this setting, it's not going to work. So try not to overexpose with the white input level. And then of course we've got gamma, which is just going to boost everything up across the board. So it's going to pull our highlights down and our shadows down if we pull that down, and then vice versa. So have a play with this, just try and get to a point that you're happy with. But after a while, you'll notice that you'll be able to pull the exposure up. So this was before and this was after. You can see you've been able to adjust the exposure without clipping any of your highlights or crushing any of your shadows.